We're going to start out with the teams. You can hear the crowd going wild now as they're taking the floor for the first heat. The teams, though, the contenders are what we thought they would be. Pro 1 Montreal in first, Invictus Boston, Milford, Fraternity, East Woodbridge, always contender. The one team that maybe needs to move a little bit today, and they're not very far out, Reebok CrossFit won. They are in 7th place. They're just 12 points out of a qualifying spot, so they are in good shape right now as you see the standings after 2 events. Well, we're going to start it out with event number 3. That'll be our first event today, and it's just about going to work.
And this is all about work, but it's 2 male and female pairs that are going to go through this event. The first male-female pair will go through 20 assault bike calories and 30 for the men, 20 for the women, and then they're going to alternate that with partner deadlifts, a 21-15-9, so back and forth on the bike and then back on the deadlifts. As soon as they're finished, then the second male-female pair is going to do 90 calories for the men, 60 for the ladies on the bike, and then they're going to go for 1 set of 45 deadlifts at 440 pounds.
Here's how they will line up. 9 teams in this heat, led by Metric in lane 1. You have Bionic, who's got a big fan section here behind us in lane number 9. But the highest seeded teams right now, 4, 5, and 6. Move Fast Freedom, Flower City CrossFit, and CrossFit Crag. They're in lanes 4, 5, and 6 as we are ready to go. And we're underway on day 2. It is moving day, and you're going to have to get moving on this assault bike. Again, the 30 calories for the males, 20 for the females.
What a way to start the day. Like, just get on that bike, and you're going to go as hard as you can. This blows up your entire system. You know, here's the thing. You really need to be appropriate with who you pair for this event. You don't want to have one athlete just so waiting and so far behind that it's causing, you know, you not to feel the exact same, that both athletes aren't getting to that bar within the same condition. If one athlete is wrecked approaching that deadlift bar, they're going to really slow you down because you have to be synchronized when you pick that bar up.
Pretty nice way to start your morning time. Usually when you're at the box, you save that assault bike maybe for the last thing you do a few sprints just to help that work capacity after your WOD for the day, or your Metcon, or if you've done some strength, just to, you know, just as a nice finisher. But what a way to start things off at 9 o'clock Eastern. Got to get your day going.
Well, and especially for that second pair that comes through, I mean, just 90 calories. When you're just sitting there watching those numbers just tick, it feels like an eternity. And especially in competition, when you get there, the adrenaline is so high that the first couple drives, you're pumping, you feel okay, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my, I can't even, this has only been 5 seconds.
Lane 3, CrossFit Laval Force 5. They're out of Quebec. They will get on the demo. So on your left, they're in the T-shirt and the tank top on the right side, and the all-black top. That is Move Fast Freedom. They are out of CrossFit Athletic Academy in Holbrook, New York. Yesterday a 26th and a 17th place. So they roll it forward here in the set of 21. Every 7 repetitions. Something that's different than what you might do in the open if you're doing a deadlift, or maybe even in years past. No singles and drops. If you're going to put this barbell down, you must put it down.
Partner deadlifts have the potential to really hurt your back. If you're not communicating, or one athlete does start to drop the bar, that's a lot of tug and a lot of pull on one side of your back. We did these back in 2016 at the regional level in competition with the teams, and it's fun when you practice them and you have the right partner, but if you don't, they're terrible, and you feel all the loading on one side, and if you're not timed just right, it really does affect your body. It will show the effects going back to the bike if you're lopsided on one side of the push or the pull when you get to the bike.
So that was CrossFit Metric that went back. Here's CrossFit Crag. So Crag is the first one to get back to the bike. They're out of Marlborough, Massachusetts, 7th in the Northeast, and then Metric was right behind them.
Set of 15s. This is the one in a 21-15-9. This is where you have to dig in. It hurts because you've already done the volume around the 21s. But now you're back to the bike, and you have to just kind of keep that push, though. You can't settle in and go easy, because this is the pair that needs to give their second pair the most time. Because that second pair, they're going to have to break things up. They cannot afford to sprint on the bike at 90 calories, at 60 calories. So these guys have to be your pushers. If it were me, I would send my athletes that have more of the lung capacity and that they can push a little faster, maybe not my strongest athletes, in this first pair so that they can push a little faster.
That's metric right there on the front of your screen. Again, out of Toronto, Ontario, at a CrossFit metric. And a 28th and a 29th yesterday. A chance to move up a little bit today. If they want to get in those mental heats tomorrow, need to have a good event. You can see the pacing, Tanya, on the bike. On the first round, it was all guns a-blazing, but once you get that first round of assault bike of the 21 deadlift, slows down a little bit.
Well, and plus the deadlifts too, just the effects of the deadlifts, those heavy deads. When you get back, your body, you need your legs, but you just use them to lift that 440-pound bar. So you're trying to drive with your arms more than the legs because it's pretty much what you have. People aren't out of their seats like they were. So they're doing what they can, but the other thing they need to really be looking at is where their partner is. There's no need to push and go too fast if your partner is so far behind because of the effects of that bike on you.
So CrossFit Crag stays in the lead. They are the first pair to get off the second round of the assault bike. Here's the round of 15. They'll advance the bar every 5 reps.
Watch their timing. They're really aggressive to stand that bar up. They're deliberate with the way that they come right up, really intentional and fast. They're not slow and dragging the bar up. It's quick. You have a helper, and really their size is really nice. Their arm length, their leg length, they're paired very well, so that's going to be much more efficient, and it's going to be less taxing on them than other pairs that aren't so evenly matched.
I'm going to give you a chance to hear this 440-pound barbell slam the floor here. Notice you have to set it down. The judges will be watching, and it's easier to do it as an individual, not so much as a team, but you still can, watching and forcing the bar down and using that bounce to get your way back up.
And that's really hard to do with a pair. As a pair, to be able to do that and time that bounce is difficult. This team is having a little bit more trouble with their timing of pulling the barbell off the ground, and it is probably because of their height discrepancy. It's more of a challenge for the outside hand, and when you're trying to pull, the guy has to wait just an extra second to start pulling because of the female's she's not that as tall, so it's tricky, and you can see that they are a little bit more fatigued. They don't look as smooth on the barbell, a little bit more wobbly, and the bar doesn't stay as level. 440
pounds, and again, it's weighted a little bit heavier on the male side. Right now, you've got CrossFit Crag in the lead, then Select pass Metric, and so Metric is down in third, but here is CrossFit Select, who has moved into second place in Mississauga, Ontario. They were 9th in Canada East, 58th in the Open. They've been in the games, that box has, one time, and 27th, 26th yesterday. Now they head down. This is the third round of the 30 and 20 cows.
And this sprint, this is what everything you have left, you're giving it right here.
So many different faces on the assault bike, Tanya. You have the people that have it down, some flailing a little bit there like CrossFit Crag. Some people you see the head up and the eyes closed, just trying to find that happy place if there is one on the assault bike.
Well, that's it. By now, everybody has. This is not an uncommon machine. This is something everybody knows. You don't love it. It hurts you, but you need to be on there. So I've never found one specific good way to be on the assault bike or coach anyone on there. Just basically keep move. Drive your legs, drive your arms. I like when it's a longer portion, I like to just push one body part and focus on one for a few drives just to mix it up, just so I can feel like I'm doing something rather than focusing on the pain.
And unfortunately, it's something as a coach you tell your athletes, unfortunately for you, the better you are at this apparatus, the worse it's going to hurt. It's not like a rower where you can pace down the strokes or anything. The better you are, the worse it is.
It's true.
CrossFit Crag, this is their round of 9, and then they will have to come over the barbell, move the chest piece back, and then their second pair can come in for the round of 90 and 45.
And their female athlete is ready to go. Her timing is she's quicker off the bar than he is, pulling it off the ground. She was telling him, get up here. They still have another pair to go, so this event does not end with them. They still have 2 more athletes waiting.
Advancing every 3 reps. That's the round of 9, and here is Metric, who was in second place early but fell off to select. And so they have moved the chest piece. Here come your second pair for Craig. And now this is going to be a whole different beast on you. The 21-15-9 points for this. You can sprint a little bit more, but at the 90 cows, the long cows here, and then the 45 consecutive deadlifts, a little bit different beast.
We already see a different pace, a different speed on that bike. They can kind of settle in. These are going to be your athletes that are strong on the deadlift, that have the muscular strength and the muscular endurance to hold that heavy barbell rep after rep. So here, all they need to do is find that pace that's a little uncomfortable, but that they really just need to kind of just chip away. If anything, I would go a little bit faster, harder, earlier on, and then settle in, but they look composed, and they have that lead against everyone else out there.
So right now, it's still Craig, Select, and Metric, your top three. That's the second pair now that has started for Metric in lane number one, the black tops with the red and white lettering.
And that is a good pace. They are pushing. I'm impressed with how hard and how aggressive they are in this final 9. But I'm surprised they're not watching each other's monitors as well, just to kind of check where they are. They're really staying right on their own bike. Not a lot of communication. I haven't seen that with any of the pairs, which I'm surprised. We may see that in later heats, just to be aware of how hard are you pushing over there? Do I need to pick it up on my end?
Saw Craig earlier on the round of 15, the female slow up a little bit. Don't need to blow yourself up. If you're waiting on your partner, get a little bit of recovery to help out on the deadlifts. In the middle of your screen there, in the teal top, tank top, the female, and the shirtless male, the gray shorts, those are your current leaders. Craig, that's the second pair coming through on the round of the long assault bike. And there are the athletes out of Marlboro, Massachusetts. Again, 90 counts for the male, 60 for the female. Then they'll have to do 45 straight deadlifts.
And I mean, unless you're a complete animal, there's nobody that can get off that assault bike if they've just annihilated themselves and then pick up that weight with a partner. That's just not going to happen. So really the smartest thing to do is to save yourself up for those deadlifts and then smash the deadlifts. Because of those reps, at 45 reps, you have to break them up. You're going to have to move anyway. So if you know you can hold on, save yourself enough for great transitions and to be quick, you'll be fine. I just don't know if we're going to see anybody really attacking 90 and 60 calories in the second pair. Interesting
technique there. I'll do this myself. A lot of athletes do it. Anthony Weislander, I believe that's the second male for CrossFit Craig. Every so often, he's in his pace. He'll stand up a little bit, get those reps, those RPMs up just a little bit, then pull back down, sit back in the saddle.
I also like that it takes some of the pressure off my back. The rounded position, I don't love staying in that position. So to stand up, I can kind of open my hips a little bit. It feels good to change that pace when you're sitting there so long.
Taller athlete, and it looks like the male ahead of him maybe have been a little bit shorter because he's not able to get that leg fully extended.
Well, and that's it. You don't want to waste the time you're seeing him do it right there. You don't want to waste the time adjusting the seat, adjusting things, because it's precious calories in seconds.
It's something they told the athletes today. You're not allowed to adjust that seat if you're in the second pair. You see RX Performance had that event record in Europe at 15:19:59. But you're not allowed to adjust that seat in the second pair until your athletes have gone and touched the chest piece. You can come out and do a quick adjustment, but you better be fast like a pit crew.
And that's it. A lot of times you don't want to waste that time and risk. If anybody's ever tried to quickly change before 3, 2, 1, go, when you realize your seat's wrong, it's hard to do that quickly and be efficient. And you're risking leaving something loose and something else going wrong.
Well, that male athlete for CrossFit Norwalk really getting after the bike on the left of the white shirt you just saw. Again, it's Craig, Select, and Metric were your top three after the round of 21:15.9. And we're waiting to see who the first pair that come off the 90-60 assault bike calories will be here.
For some of these teams on the bottom end of the leaderboard, they may have a little more discrepancy between their stronger athletes, their more endurance athletes. They might have different strengths and weaknesses that may be a little greater than some of our top teams. So it may have been easier for them to pick which pairs to go through for this event. But that's not the case for all of the teams. Some of the teams that are really equal in their ability levels, the best thing to do would be to test this one. Test both options in both pairing sets and see really which athletes work the best together for both of them, because when you have the strength and the height and all of those factors, there's a lot of factors that come into play. You can't just say it's just your best here, just best over there. Some athletes do work better together as well.
The female on the right for Cragg just signaled, I believe, 15 cows left for the male for Cragg. You're seeing a lot of the females now pull up. They're done with their 60. They'll wait on the males to finish their 90. Nice move by the female for Metric right there, and that is Nicole Carrero. And she's kind of moving the legs. I believe she's done with her 60 cows, but not freezing up. You want to stay a little bit loose before the deadlifts. Bringing that heart rate down slowly. And again, it's Nicole Carrero who is finishing and checking on her male to the right. And there is Cragg, and they are about done.
And this is where a little more awareness throughout this big chunk of calories. If he could have paid attention a little bit more, I wonder if he could have picked up that pace, maybe stood up a little bit longer for a few more reps, a few more calories.
That's Erica Felter, the female for CrossFit Cragg down there on the bike. And now here they come. Now the athletes in the 21:15.9 must stay 3 sections behind the pair that's about to get into the 90 deadlifts. And they are setting up here. It's going to be 45 straight. And you see the numerical markers. They're going to do sets of 9 and then advance the barbell forward.
And again, this pair looks great with their arm length, leg length. He is still able to lock out his legs. That's challenging for the man. If you have a male on your team that's really tall, it's hard for them to kind of hunch over and meet the height of the woman without pulling her arms all the way up. They look great as far as that goes with arm and leg length. Their timing so far looks good.
Select off to the right of the black tops of the gray shorts. They are currently in second, so it saves Cragg and Select. We're waiting to see who the third team will be off if Metric's able to keep pace. Hands are up for Metric in the background, but right now you've got Cragg in the blue top and then Select in the black in the forefront of your screen. And there's going to be a shift in third place. And it looks like lane 5, Flower City CrossFit now making a move. That's exactly who it is. You've got Cragg, Select, and Flower City are your top 3 Flower Cities out of Rochester, New York. But that's their leaders, Cragg. But Select really cycling through the barbell on the right, Tanya, and they are making up ground.
They are, and this is where it's going to come down to a little bit of a push and a sprint, but both teammates have to be able to pick up that bar. You can't have one ready to go without the other.
Just over a minute remaining in event number 1, heat number 1, a 17-minute time cap. Metric is off the bike. They're on the barbell. So it's Cragg, Select, Flower City, and Metric, but it's Cragg and Select that are back and forth right here. Cragg on the left in the blue top, Select on the right side in the black tops. Cragg maintains the lead as they're getting toward the end. We'll see if they can get in under the time cap.
And their backs are starting around a little bit, just the form's falling apart a little as we expected it would at 440 pounds on the bar.
Select making up some ground, but Cragg maintaining that lead. Less than 30 seconds remain. Again, Select on the right in the black tops. That's Cragg, shirtless male, and the blue top for the female. They are your leaders here with 15 seconds. Trying to get these last 3 with 10 seconds. Going to cap out. I believe they got that last round with the male athlete trying to jump over the barbell. They may have been another section short, but they will get the heat win.
They got the heat win, but you could see the effects of that heavy barbell. They just weren't able to hold on to the big sets, the 9s like they were in the earlier sets. It really does take a toll on your body, and that was quite a push, an impressive, gutsy move there. That barbell hurts, and you can't go for another rep if your partner drops the bar.
So Cragg, Select, Flower City, Metric unofficially will look like it'll be your top 4 in the heat. Nice wave there. And there is Metric, who made a nice run, or Select, who made a nice run there. Nearly caught it with Cragg, got in the same section, but that's what it looks like through heat number 1. 2 heats remaining here from the East Regional, but Heat 1 is done. It is assault bike and deadlift. Heat 2 is on the way from Albany.
10 seconds, athletes. Stand by. All right, heat number 2 coming out hot. jumping on those assault bikes. We'll break it down for you one more time. Event number 3. We got a whole bunch of biking and a whole bunch of heavy lifting. Your first 2 athletes gonna be doing a couplet. 30 calories for the gentlemen, 20 calories for the ladies. And deadlifts. The deadlifts will decrease in our very famous CrossFit rep scheme, 21, 15, and 9, with 440 pounds on that Rogue deadlift bar. Our second teammates will jump on for the full reps, 90 calories on that assault bike for the guys, 60 for the ladies, and 45 deadlifts. Keep track of your favorite athletes as they make their way down the competition floor. Hands up from some judges. Once again, you got both athletes on the bike. The gentlemen doing 30 calories, the ladies doing 20 calories here for your first 2 teammates. So you may have some athletes jumping off the bike and waiting on their partners. Team CrossFit ADM down in lane number 2, your first athletes onto the deadlift bar, followed by Coliseum Strength in lane number 8, and CrossFit 207 and Physics CrossFit in lanes 3 and 4. And now here comes the rest of your crews. If you take a look down at the competition floor, large numbers on the floor, 21, 15, and 9. After each set, they will march their bar down the competition floor. That way it'll be a little bit easier for you to keep track of your favorite teams. As we cross over the 2-minute mark, a 17-minute time cap once again for event number 3. And Team ADM in lane number 2, your first athletes back to that assault air bike. Followed by CrossFit Queens. And Coliseum Strength to round out your 1, 2, and 3 as our athletes head into that second round of calories on that assault bike. And that round of 15. If you're new to our CrossFit sport, 440 pounds on that deadlift bar, and you'll see there's one additional plate on one side. So yes, the bar is uneven. So strategy plays a factor. Your score to beat so far here in the East, 44 reps on that final deadlift couple. 44 reps, so just 1 rep shy. That's coming by way of CrossFit Crag. Hands are up for that second round of calories. That second round, a little bit of lead change. It's going to be Team CrossFit Queens coming out in front for that round of 15. I think I heard some folks here from CrossFit Queens. Anybody here? All right. Working on that round of 15. Now looks like CrossFit ADM down in lane number 2. And CrossFit New England in lane number 9, making a nice little push here in that round number 2. As we come up on the 5-minute mark, ADM handling that Rogue barbell, nice and fast. Lane number 2, red shirts. But it'll be CrossFit Queens heading back for their first 2 teammates' final round. Now we're starting to dig into that assault bike. Hair whipping back and forth. Rep scheme lowers, but our athletes performing the same amount of calories on that bike. 30 calories for the gentlemen, 20 calories for the ladies. 21 reps, 15 reps, and 9 reps on the deadlift bar from our first 2 teammates. And then your second pair waiting at that start line. Before they can run out and tackle 90 full calories for the guys, 60 for the ladies, and the full 45 reps on that heavy deadlift bar. That is a hell of a way to start your Saturday morning. CrossFit Queens, your first athletes to start round number 3, that round of calorie bike and 9 deadlifts. We'll see if they can hang on to the lead. CrossFit New England down in lane number 9, making a push there in that round number 2. We'll see if they can hang on. Think about this event for yourself. What would you rather do? Break up your calories and 21:15.9 on the deadlifts, or would you like to do the whole thing all at once? I'm not sure if I'd want to do either, but give it a shot. Grab a couple of your best friends and try it out. See how you stack up against some of the best right here. And leading the way is Team CrossFit Queens in lane number 5. Purple hair and all, 9 reps to go for CrossFit Queens. We'll see if they can hang on to that lead. Their teammates waiting on the green start mat. Who will join them? It's going to be Team ADM in lane number 2. And now Queens will tag out. 90 calories for the gentlemen, 60 calories for the ladies for your second pair. They will have to perform the whole thing before they can touch that deadlift bar. So it goes 1, CrossFit Queens, 2, CrossFit ADM in lane number 2. And looking like CrossFit New England rounding out your top 1, 2, and 3 down in lane number 9. CrossFit New England, some regionals vets. And that'll do it for CrossFit New England. Crossing over the 8.5-minute mark. The halfway point into our 17-minute time-capped event. Yankee CrossFit. Pulling the weight fast. Trying to make up some ground, getting team number 2 onto the competition floor. The commotion on the floor will settle down here momentarily as all of our athletes hop back up onto that assault air bike for a nice little bike ride. 90 calories for the gentlemen, 60 once again for the ladies. Just about all of our teams putting team number 2 onto the floor. Last rep for Coliseum Strength in lane number 8, and that will do it. Team number 2 on the floor to perform all the reps at once. Once again, here in the East, the score to beat, 1 rep shy of completing the event. 44 total deadlifts, 44 reps. And we'll see if we can best that right here in heat number 2. Event record coming earlier this morning, much earlier this morning, out of our Europe region. 15 minutes and 19 seconds. 15:19 by Team RX Performance out of our Europe region. I don't know if you did, but I got up in the middle of the night, checked out some of that competition. You can do so as well. Keep up with all of your regions across the world. Games.crossfit.com and all your social media platforms, whichever your preference. Tag us in on a picture if you have one, a comment. We love hearing from you. Give your favorite teams a shout out this weekend as well, as they're out here just putting it down, looking for those very coveted spots, heading out to Madison for our sophomore year out in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin. I had a fantastic time there last year, and I hope to see you guys there this year. 11.5 minutes, that time slipping away. A nice little warm-up on that assault air bike. 90 calories for the guys, 60 for the ladies. Hands are up, looking to maintain that lead, center of your competition floor. Sitting in 11th place going into day number 2, Team CrossFit Queens. A whole bunch of slabs of meat on that Rogue barbell, 440 pounds. It's okay, you can root them along. They want to hear from you. Starting to dig into that bike. Getting tunnel vision, starting to really heat up those engines. And that'll do it. All the calories. Bike today for Team CrossFit Queens. Your leading team, and right to work on that deadlift bar. 45 total reps. And they will march down the floor. Every 9 reps, they will move that bar. Getting dialed in, a few no reps. But that's to be expected as you have 2 totally different partners, a mixed weighted deadlift bar. And now Physics CrossFit making up some time on that assault bike and coming out slinging. 14 minutes in, 3 minutes remaining. Your leaders out of CrossFit Queens, center of your competition floor, all out in front. Their closest competitor, next lane over, lane number 4, Physics CrossFit. But now they will have some company. Lane number 2, CrossFit ADM. Lane number 1, CrossFit Roseland. ADM in the red tops, black shorts. Roseland, white top, red shorts. 9 reps more in the bag for CrossFit Queens as that time is slipping away. Event record 15:19 out of Europe. Best score here today in the East, 44 total reps. And now Physics CrossFit looking to close the gap over CrossFit Queens. That grip starting to slip away as we get deep into that set of 45 reps. CrossFit Queens getting very close. 5 reps remaining before they can move forward. 15 and a half minutes in, 90 seconds remaining, athletes, 90 seconds remaining. CrossFit Queens, lane number 5. They will run across the line. The whole team's got to get across. That'll be your new time to beat, unofficially 15:57. And they will have that event here today. Physics CrossFit making up a lot of time in lane number 4, unofficially 16:10. 2 teams all complete with about 45 seconds remaining. A few teams here within closing distance. CrossFit 207, a handful of reps left. ADM and Roseland, 30 seconds remaining, teams, 30 seconds. The clock doesn't stop, and neither should you. Stay moving. 15 seconds remain. 10 seconds, athletes. We are going to count you down. 3, 2, 1. And time. 2 teams officially finishing. Give it up for leading the way, Team CrossFit Queens. And Physics CrossFit finishing up all the reps as well. We will see how it all shakes out. Heat number 3 on deck and ready to go. Don't go anywhere.
Getting set up for heat number 3, event number 3 this morning in Albany, New York, inside the Times Union Center at the 2018 CrossFit Games East Regional. I'm Jeff Brightwell alongside Tanya Wagner. We'll be joined later on the competition floor by Nick Zielinski. Well, day 1 was an exciting one, but the contenders are where we thought they would be. Pro One, Invictus, Milford, Fraternity, Woodbridge. Reebok CrossFit won. They were at the games last year. They finished 5th. In Madison, they're in 7th place, but they're not in bad shape, just 12 points out of the top 5.
A couple new athletes to the team, but I think I'm anxious to see what they do today with the worm in their hands again in this next event. And this is what they're going to have first. It's going to be a male and female pair is going to go through a little 21-15-9 of assault bike calories, 30 for the guys, 20 for the girls, and then 21-15-9 on the partner deadlift that weighs 440 pounds. Once that pair completes all of that, then the next pair comes through, and they're just going to go through once on the bike and once on the deadlift. It's 90 calories for the guys, 60 for the girls, and 45 partner deadlifts in a row. Now they do have to break them up in sets of 9 on the mats, but it's 45 deadlifts, and that is where we're seeing some racing. That's where we're seeing the fun come down to the strategy and how these partners work together.
That is how they line up. Pro One Montreal, your leader in lane number 5, and then Reebok CrossFit 1 in lane 2. Again, 12 points out of a qualifying spot to Madison, Wisconsin. So that is the lane assignments here as we get set for the 21-15-9 portion of this test. Your leaders right there, Pro One Montreal. Underway, and with 2 different segments of this event, this test, vastly different test for both pairs. Last classic numbers in CrossFit 21-15-9, more of a sprint as you see on the assault bike. It'll be a little bit more paced out when you have to do that large chunk.
A couple different strategies here. We see some teams just getting after this first at a 21. Other teams are a little more composed and relaxed. If you look here, Pro One Montreal, these are your leaders, and they're a little more composed, especially the gentleman here. He's a little more relaxed. the set of 21s, usually for, especially when it's calories on a bike, you want to be a little more composed. You want to just kind of get yourself in a good rhythm, because the barbell is heavy, and if you go too hard here on this first set, you're struggling by the time you get to the 9s and when you get to the last time that you're on that barbell.
First pair for pro in Montreal is David Fontaine and Lorraine Allard. They were number 1 in Canada East. They were 8th worldwide, and right now sitting in first place. But here we go. This is Invictus Boston, and last year that was CrossFit Back Bay. They finished 11th at the games. They were 4th in the Northeast this year, 33rd in the Open, and they have 4 members that were in the top 77 individually, and again made a really nice splash at the games last year.
They work so well together. They communicate, and they really do gel together as a team, and you're going to see this as they transition with the barbell. Hands stay on the bar, they move it together, they move well together, and I think with their pairings, they always are appropriate with who they put together, and especially now that we have a 4-person team, they're the strongest athletes here. They're moving the barbell nice, very aggressive, and that's what you need for this first pair. The 21-15-9 pair has to be aggressive. They have to be spicy. Austin Malleolo here on the barbell with his partner. He's known for those long arms. He just manhandles deadlifts, but the hard part for Austin is probably going to be slowing down his deadlift to meet the speed of his partner. So they can be efficient.
Invictus Boston, that's Kelsey Kill, Tola Marquinho, the first pair. So Nathan McCabe and Brianna Hamilton will be their pair to have to go through that long section of the assault bike and the 45 deadlifts. Well, they're starting on their second round. Once they get off the assault bike, they'll go into the round of 15 deadlifts.
When you're in the 15s, I would tell my athletes, this is the one where you just have to maintain that speed you had. Try not to slow down, just try to maintain and keep that same pace you just were at. And if you try, you just might, but you don't want to slow down in this round. The reps go down and you need to just keep yourself moving, especially because this next pair needs all the time. We've only had a couple teams finish, so really they need to have that. They need all the time they have in this event.
Jonathan Gouvreau, the male on the left for RX Lab, the Flying V. They were 10th and 3rd yesterday in the events out of Montreal, Canada. Again, 3rd in Canada East, 26 worldwide. Female on the right side, that looks like that may be Catherine St. Gillet. But we do know that's Jonathan Gabbro on the left side, the male athlete for RX Lab Flying V. But again, it was Invictus Boston out to the early lead. And again, it looks like Kelsey's going to slow it down just a little bit and allow her teammate to finish up his calories. Again, that is Tola on the left, and that is Kelsey Keel on the right side. Take a look at the calories near the bottom. She'll slow it down, looking to get to 20 as Tolo's trying to get to 30 off to the right.
And a lot of this, for the gentlemen, they have those extra 10 calories, and it's pretty equal, but we're seeing with the caliber of these ladies, they can rip through those 20 calories a little bit faster. For the guys also, when it comes to the deadlift, any of the partner deadlifts, the guys have always, any partner deadlift I've done, they take a little more of the toll with the weight being heavier on their side. A lot of times it's the guys that are feeling a little bit more of the uneven and that balance with their side. So that's all right, gentlemen, you can handle it.
That was Cassandra Uvini and Austin Malleolo for Reebok CrossFit 1, but we go back to your leaders right now. That is Invictus Boston. They are in the white in the middle of your screen. Up at the top of the screen in the army green, that's Reebok CrossFit 1. Reebok CrossFit 1 now moves the barbell. Again, Austin Malleolo, and then it's Cassandra Uvini on the right side of your screen. And again, they finished 5th a year ago in Madison, Wisconsin. And they've got a good pairing here. Both the same size lever, both the same size heights. They don't have to have that odd deadlift for one athlete so a lot taller than the other.
They also did a great job with transitioning there, and I wonder, they held the barbell with their hands as they rolled it and didn't pick their hands off the bar. That saves time. Very smart, nice quick transition. They also ran back to their bikes while the other teams, Pro 1, Invictus, they've been walking in between. Very smart move. That is a veteran move by Austin Malleolo, leading that team. Transitions are key.
Hey guys, I was able to chat with Reebok CrossFit when this event started, mainly Spencer Hindle. Of course, Spencer and Austin, both games veterans as individuals and team members. A little bit of an unfamiliar position for them heading into day 2, 12 points out of a top 5 spot, but tons of experience, and that's what they're hoping helps them here in event 3 as they take the lead. They said it's dangerous in an event like this. You can see where everybody's at. You can see that deadlift bar moving up reps. You can see them sprinting to that last set of 9 or so on these deadlifts here, and you can't get caught up in playing games with other teams. You have to go out, stick to your game plan, and stay with it. Of course, we know veteran experience is invaluable when it comes to events like this, and they're planning on staying with their game plan, their strategy, and they hope that helps them push them up the leaderboard. Never count out that veteran experience. We know it's vital in every sport, from the NFL to the NBA, and of course, right here on the CrossFit Games East Regional floor.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Again, it's Reebok CrossFit 1, Invictus, RX Lab, the Flying V. Your top 3 here is every team is back, getting ready for the round of 9. It's the time to beat in the heat prior to us. CrossFit Queens, 15:55:36. Also, Physics finishing about 16:10. So we've only seen 2 teams finish in the first 2 heats. That's the challenge these teams have in the test. Back to Invictus Boston, who had the early lead. They've fallen to second, and we'll see how they do in the assault bike. But there's Reebok CrossFit 1, and they are nearly done with their calories and then trying to get the relatively quick set of 9.
And what a completely different test this event is than compared to yesterday, event 1, where people are getting caught up on the handstand walks. Things they can't do. These athletes can do this event. They can do each movement and each portion of this event. It's how hard are you willing to push? How hard are you willing to work? It's just go hard, feel the pain, and then pick up the bar when you don't want to.
There goes Reebok CrossFit 1. I mean, Austin Balialo and Cassandra Avini. And Chris Balialo, you talked about it earlier. Austin set plenty of open and regional event records on the deadlift, so a good choice to put him up there. Here comes Invictus in the white in the middle of your screen, trying to make a push. But Reebok CrossFit 1 is going to stay 3 reps ahead. They'll touch the marker, and then it'll be up to Spencer Hindle and Ashley Wozni to take over. Now, Hindle, we know a lot about him, long-time games veteran. Ashley Wozni has been to the games in the teen division, and so she's going to be new, playing with the big kids here on the team. So we'll see how Spencer can help guide her through this long round of 90 cals for the males, 60 for the females. Invictus is done, and then into the 45 consecutive deadlifts. So it stays Reebok CrossFit 1 and Invictus through the first half of this test.
And Reebok CrossFit 1, Spencer there, they moved their seats. They did. They took the time. They quickly got to the seat, adjusted the height, and they both did, jumped on, and now they're at their comfort level here, especially with Spencer being so much taller than Austin. That's a long time to be on that assault bike if you're uncomfortable and not in a good position. You won't be efficient.
It's one thing if you're giving up a little bit of height, but Austin and Spencer, they're good friends. You're standing next to each other. You need to adjust that seat, and with his long legs, you need to use all that power you can. 17-minute time cap here in event number 3, the deadlifts and the assault bike. Taking a look, that's Brianna Hamilton on the front of your screen. She's been to a couple of different boxes, a former softball player at Florida State University, and she was on the team a year ago when they went to Madison, Wisconsin.
And like we heard from Nick, all that experience at the competitive level, at the high level, when you're under pressure, when you're feeling that pain, how to work together and listen. It's the little things in the team competition that always makes the difference. The little things like transitions, the little communication things, they're the things that cost teams points and places on the podium, and they're also the ones that get them there.
So we'll see how Invictus Boston and Reebok CrossFit 1 do here in the long portion of this test. And again, RX Lab Flying V was in 3rd, but a lot different than the 21:15.9. You don't want to try to bust out the assault bike here, because this part of the test and the event is going to come down to getting through the 45 deadlifts 9 at a time.
And I think it's a good number that Dave Castro chose for the 999s to break up the 45 45 because it's tempting to want to hold on to those 9s. And we've seen a lot of teams go out, and as soon as they pick up the bar, they hold on for the first 9. I think you actually shouldn't. I think you should go 3-3-3 or 5-4, especially the first time you're getting to the bar. You're the most fresh, it feels good, but 45 is a ton. And so you don't ever get ahead when you have something like that with such a heavy barbell and taking, it seems like you should just knock a big portion off, but the effects of it just take its toll. So I'm anxious to see if under this pressure, in the race situation, if early on, certain teams, maybe Reebok, can they maintain their composure a little bit, especially on the first or second set of 9?
Brianna Hamilton taking a look over to Nathan McCabe's body to make sure they're kind of on the same page, on the same pace. And really, with the 90 and the 60, as you mentioned, you want to pace it out a little bit, but the last thing you want, Tanya, is for one athlete to be done fresh, relatively fresh, the other athlete to be just totally gassed, then trying to do a tandem deadlift.
Sure, or you don't want the other person to say, oh, I could have given it a little bit more. I didn't know. I thought you still had a lot more to go. So just those little communication things are important. Practice is one thing, but the execution in competition is a whole different ballgame.
We're going to keep an eye on the split time as we take a look at the event record that was set over in Europe today by RX Performance of 15:19:59. If the second pairs looking for a 12:47 time marker, if anyone gets off right around 12:47 or before, they'll be on pace to potentially set that event record. And Reebok CrossFit 1, there's Ashley Wisely. She is pacing down. The hand is up for the judge. They are near the end. And Spencer Hendel finishing up his calories in the assault bike. So it looks like Reebok CrossFit 1 within the next 47 seconds will have a chance. Well, Wisely's hand is up. Spencer is still finishing up. Brianna Hamilton in the white in the middle of your screen near the end of her. She's waiting for her partner to finish things up. So they may be on pace as well. Again, 12:47 is that split time we're looking for. Hendel down to 3 cows. So we may have 2 teams here in play to potentially beat that event record.
And Spencer Hendel is just breathing hard.
They're 11 seconds ahead of the pace for RX Performance. So here we go. Let's see how they can handle this barbell. Hendel, of course, a taller athlete. Ashley Wisely, though, is not giving up a lot of height. That's a good pairing.
It's a very good pairing. It is. And Spencer is just really good with the heavy barbells. He can move the loads. And so the fact that Ashley got that little breather with him, I think she'll be able to match his pace just fine. They went unbroken for their first set of 9. How many of these sets can they do that for?
So the time mark was 12:47. They got off at about 12:37, 10 seconds ahead. Now we'll just have to see if they can make the sprint. Invictus is in second place. They're off at a event record pace. They don't care. They just want to get points here and stay in the top 5. But let's see if Invictus can start to track them down. Then Team Fraternity has made a move. Team Fraternity has moved in. They're in the black in the middle of your screen. And here's Reebok CrossFit 1. They're going for that event record. 15:19:59 is the event record. Fraternity on the right side of the black and gold. They have currently taken the third, but they've got to get things squared away. You can see them breathing pretty hard. And in the white in the middle of the screen is Invictus Blossom. They had a third and the first place finished yesterday. But wow, look at Reebok CrossFit 1. They are blasting through these deadlifts.
Spencer went to step back, took a little breather there, but it looks like they're fresh. And it looks like what they want to do is take their breathers in between during the transition. It's already built in. Might as well get your rest there.
Look at this. We know Spencer Hendel is great at the deadlifts, but it's Ashley Wisely that's pulling Spencer back to the barbell.
And it's impressive, and that shows what the work of that assault bike did to him, how it makes you feel. He was pushing hard, and she's helping him hold on.
Hendel's got him. He's crashing out over there.
Wow, and this is surprising, and it just shows how much work and how detrimental this event is. The
veteran said, "Get your hands off me, kid. I got this." Finishing up here Yeah, they are way ahead of the event record pace. So that's going to cost them. They've only got 19 seconds, so they want that event record. Wisely waiting. Hendel shakes it out. 17-minute time cap, but they've got a chance at an event record. They're going to get on that finish mat if they want to do it. And they're just going to miss it as they'll roll it forward. They still have a few more reps, and they have to get on the mat. They'll miss the event record by just about 4 seconds, but what a great effort there. And boy, you've got to be really wowed by Ashley Watson.
Yes, absolutely. When you see what that event did to Spencer Hendel, he imploded. His legs are done.
So Reebok CrossFit 1 gets it done in about 15:23, and it's going to be at the Fraternity and on the right of the black, and Invictus on the left of the white. But it's Fraternity who looks like they are really cycling through. Remember, they had some trouble on that first set of the 45 and the first set of 9, but they have really kind of gained their composure as you see Invictus Boston in the white, and it's going to be Invictus Boston in the white that finishes up at 16:06. That'll be good for 3rd place overall in event number 3. Here comes Fraternity at 16:13. That should put them in 4th overall in the event.
And you can see when their athletes are laying like this on the ground, their legs, the guys are the ones that look like they are just shot. Their legs are just done. And we've seen the deadlift pairing in the combination with other movements, but this was deadly. This was a shot to the legs like no other.
Well, a lot of these teams are getting in. 17-minute time cap in lane 4, diving for CrossFit Milford. A lot of people diving into home plate. Down to 5 seconds remaining. Reebok CrossFit 1 will win the event. They were just a little bit off an event record, but the story of event 3 in the East, no doubt, the former Games teen athlete, Ashley Wozni.
Ashley Wozni just kept that second pair alive there, kept that momentum going. They needed, we said top of the show here, they're in 7th place on the leaderboard. They needed to do very well today. They have to get their points to get themselves back to the games, and this is exactly the start they needed. It was the first set with Austin Maliolo at the set of 9s on this final set. That is where they took the lead over the other teams, and then when Spencer Hendel and Ashley Wozni they got to the bar, it was all her. She just kept pulling him along. The effects of the bike and the deadlifts, it really took its toll on Spencer, and it was all he could do for those final reps. His legs were just giving out, but they weren't able to hold it together. They paired their athletes well, and they stuck to the fight. That was one heck of an event.
Wow, they were, well, like I said, the veterans, like, I've been here before, get your hands off me, but the Ashley Wozni, wow, really led that team here, kind of the young gun for Reebok CrossFit 1, helped them to the event win, and they are standing by with Nick Zielinski.
Reebok CrossFit 1 winners of that event for the teams. Awesome. First, I'm going to start with Spencer down here. Spencer, you all right?
Well, my legs hurt so bad, I can't stand up.
What about your partner there? She was the one dragging you along there. How important was it to have you as a partner?
With her not there, I would have crawled the whole way.
I'll let Spencer rest. Austin, you guys have a ton of experience on this team. How vital is that experience for an event coming into day 2 when you guys are looking outside that top 5?
Yeah, it's just it's a long weekend, and there's a lot of events, and when the event's over, you got to move on to the next event, and it's any event can change the table, so you got to stay confident. And on a team, it's team above self. So if you had a bad event, it doesn't matter. We're a team. The team had a bad event. It's not about the individual, and that's important.
You guys now have another event for the day. How do you get recovered? How do you get this guy recovered for event 4 to continue that climb up the leaderboard?
Just move a little bit. Keep your mind right. Get a little food in you, and then as soon as you're here, next 3, 2, 1, go. Most of the pain goes away, and you get ready to execute.
All right, guys. Congratulations on the event victory. We'll see y'all in event 4.
Thank you.
Reebok CrossFit 1, again, they will take event number 3 here in Albany, New York, and they needed that. They were in 7th place, so 100 points is going to do them very, very well as we take a look at Spencer Hendel and Ashley Wozni finish things up here Meanwhile, we're going to send it out to the update studio, get you caught up with Europe, and probably preview the South. But that's it for Event 3 in Albany.
And here they come. Heat number 1. Your team's heading out to the competition floor. Starting us off in lane number 9, Bionic CrossFit. In lane number 8, CrossFit Select. Lane number 7, North Haven CrossFit. In lane number 6, CrossFit Crag. In lane number 5, Flower City CrossFit. Over in lane number 4, Move Fast Freedom. In lane number 3, CrossFit Laval Force 5. Lane number 2, CrossFit Norwalk. And in lane number 1, Team Metric. 1 minute athletes and judges, 1 minute. "30 seconds, athletes, 30 seconds. "10 seconds, athletes. Stand by. All right, here we go. Event number 4 for your team event. Day number 2. Our second event for your teams. Our final look at your teams here today in the East Regional. 40 thrusters. 40 worm thrusters with that rogue worm. 358 pounds in that sandbag. After 40 thrusters, your teams will complete 40 burpees over that worm. And you can keep track of them as they march their way down the competition floor. 40 thrusters, 40 burpees. And in round number 2, 30 thrusters and 30 burpees. CrossFit Crag. Lane number 6, light blue tops, edging out in front. You'll notice who's in the lead when they start jumping over that worm with their first set of 40 burpees. Just about 90 seconds in, a 12-minute time cap here for event number 4. Heat number 1 of 3, looking to set the bar awful high and maybe set that score to beat. And now CrossFit Select in lane number 8, setting up for their first set of burpees, and they'll be your new leader. CrossFit Select, black t-shirts, gray shorts in lane number 8. 40 thrusters complete. Working on that set of 40 burpees. Time to beat coming by way of Team Spartans in our Europe region. 10 minutes, 13 seconds. 10:13 is the event record. each segment of the movement. Between those red lines on the floor, 20 reps and then 20 reps as they move forward. And then in those round of 30, 15 reps and 15 reps. CrossFit Select in lane number 8, your leaders thus far as we cross over the 3-minute mark. We'll see if they can hang on to the lead. 10 minutes, 13 seconds, the event record coming out of Europe very early this morning. 19 and now 20 reps in for CrossFit Select, and they will move their worm for their second set of 20. If you've watched a lot of social media, athletes testing out these events, a little twist here this weekend, performing those burpees on the opposite side of the worm. So communication is a key, and you got to make sure you're not running into your partners as you cross over that worm. Shirts are coming off from CrossFit Crag in lane number 6. That's how you know it's getting serious. And now Bionic CrossFit moving on to their second set of burpees in that round of 40. Crossing over the 5-minute mark. Once again, a 12-minute time cap here for our event. Your leaders in that round of 40, CrossFit Select in lane number 8, but looking to move into the lead and threatening fast is Move Fast Freedom in lane number 4. But done with the burpees and trying to get that worm back up is CrossFit Select. We'll see who can get their hands on it first, and it will be CrossFit Select. Moving on to that second round of 30 thrusters. And now CrossFit Norwalk in lane number 2. And Move Fast Freedom at the same time. Jockeying back and forth for that 2 and 3 position. CrossFit Crag and Flower City CrossFit in lanes 6 and 5. Now back up and moving with that Rogue Worm. 15 reps down, 15 to go for your leaders, CrossFit Select. And now moving very fast on the thrusters is CrossFit Norwalk in lane number 2. All tied up with CrossFit Select. Who is gonna grab it for that second round of 15 first? Feeling the pressure is CrossFit Select in lane number 8. Gonna try to maintain that lead. Being able to look down the lane and see Norwalk. And they grabbed that worm and got right back to work. CrossFit Norwalk now. Moving fast, made up a lot of ground on that first set of 15. Can they pull into the lead? Taking a break is CrossFit Norwalk with that worm on their shoulder, resting with the worm on the ground as CrossFit Select as we come up on the 8-minute mark. 8 minutes in, 4 minutes to go. But it will be your new leaders, CrossFit Norwalk in lane number 2. 30 burpees over the worm is all that stands in the way of that finish line. CrossFit Select onto their burpees as well at about a 3-rep deficit. 10 minutes and 13 seconds, the event record, 10:13. CrossFit Norwalk, lane number 2. CrossFit Select in lane number 8. And everybody else, but it looks like Flower City CrossFit in lane number 5. Moving on to that 3rd position and their final 30 burpees. Flower City CrossFit moving very fast in lane number 5. As is Move Fast Freedom. CrossFit Select and CrossFit Norwalk slowing down. Will that leave the door open? As we cross over the 9.5-minute mark. 14 reps in for CrossFit Select. 15 reps in for CrossFit Norwalk. CrossFit Norwalk moving forward. Their final 15 reps in front of them, and just 2 steps behind is CrossFit Select. With 2 minutes remaining, athletes, 2 minutes to go. And we have a rep-for-rep battle between your 1 and 2 positions. Norwalk slightly in the lead in lane number 2. CrossFit Select in lane number 8. Who's gonna break first? Nobody wanting to rest. 90 seconds remaining. Move Fast Freedom, Flower City CrossFit making a push here at the end. 1 minute, 15 seconds remaining. Watching for those judges' hands to go up. 15 total reps needed, but it'll be CrossFit Select staying out in front and finishing unofficially 10:57, and then Norwalk 11:02 unofficial. You're 1 and 2 complete with less than 60 seconds to go. Flower City CrossFit, 2 reps to go. And 40 seconds remaining. That'll do it for Flower City CrossFit. 11:22. "30 seconds remaining, teams. 30 seconds. Move Fast Freedom trying to finish up underneath that 12-minute time cap. 15 seconds remain. 10 seconds. Move Fast Freedom will make it across the line. We're gonna count you down. 3, 2, 1. And time. That'll do it for heat number 1, event number 4. Great job, teams. Give it up one more time for your team, CrossFit Select.
9 and 6.
10:54, your best time here at our East Regional.
When you can, got about 5 seconds.
The event record will still hold, but 10:54, that's where we're at here in the East. Will that be enough?
Well, they're setting up for heat number 2 of event number 4 here at the Times Union Center in Albany, New York. for the 2018 CrossFit Games East Regional. I'm Jeff Private alongside Tanya Wagner, Nick Zielinski on the competition floor. So we have had one event underway already today. This is the second event. The first one of the assault bike and the deadlift was brutal, and now it's still, Tanya, just go to work.
Today's all about work on the team side. It's working together now in their teams of 4 for 40 worm thrusters, 40 worm burpees, and then 30 worm thrusters and 30 worm burpees. A little different standard than we've seen on the burpees. This was the same event that we had last year, and so we have seen that, but there's 4-man team, not a 6, so some differences this year, but still the same painful effects as last year. 12-minute cap for this workout, this event.
Take a look at how they line up here, and a couple of teams that we are going to pay attention to. In lane number 4, Physics CrossFit, who got 4th place in event 3 early. They moved up into the top 10, and also right next to them in lane number 5, CrossFit Queens with a 2nd place in event 3. They moved up to 7th place, and now they are only 20 points out of a qualifying spot to Madison, Wisconsin. So 4 and 5 will be the 2 lanes. Physics and Queens will be paying particular attention to see if they can follow up earlier today. And there they are. That is Physics on the left and CrossFit Queens on the right.
2 teams that work well together. They've been with each other for a while. They do well with the pairings earlier today, and now they get a chance to put it all together and work as a 4-man team.
Queens was 26 in the games last year, and they are great with the worm. At least they were last year. So we'll see if that plays out here in this event. And the teams will make their way to the worm. Well, when you think about this, and it may not trigger in your head immediately when you talk about worm thrusters and burpees, but let's go back to the Open in 2014 and 2016. 14-5, 16-5, the descending reps of thrusters and burpees for individuals. Now you just do them as a 4-person team with a worm.
A really fun way to synchronize and keep everybody together instead of barbell synchronization where you're still in control of something. This is where the effects of one person really makes a difference, and when you work together as well as possible, then you will be rewarded because it'll be efficient and you'll move faster. So we've seen the worm for many years, and I love having it here at the region.
Unlike a barbell thruster, the standard in the barbell thruster, arms locked out. With the worm, they're looking just for the knees, hips, and the shoulders to be all in a straight line. Don't have to get the arms fully extended, just get it over your head.
Still the same effects as a thruster where the using the same muscles, using the same large muscle groups, using your hips to move the weight and get the elevation on the weight over your head. But it takes a lot of timing and coordination. A lot of teams that have practiced this, they have worms, they know how to kind of work together, but it is coming off of the event we just had with the deadlifts, with the assault bike. Their legs are tired, so for some of these teams, they're going to need to adjust and adapt to the practiced pace and the practiced sets and reps that they already strategized, and adapt on the fly and communicate that.
Just saw the weight of that worm, 358 pounds. Again, here is Physics CrossFit right in front of you, off to the right with the black tops and the Army Green Georgia's Queens. That's Physics CrossFit, 15th and 10th yesterday, but a 4th place finish to start off the day this morning. So they put themselves in contention. They have moved up to 10th place. The new burpee standard coming up. 2 athletes on one, 2 on the other. You kind of toggle your stance, and it's a lateral burpee now.
So it used to be a burpee facing, or a worm facing burpee where their heads were all together. You could tell it was easy, just peek to your right, peek to your left, see that everybody's chests were on the floor at the same time. But now a lot of these teams are using that one person waits till the end. They're the designated person that's going to go, and you only have to wait for them to touch their chest, and then it's a guarantee everyone's down.
Better have teammate awareness as well, especially if you're one of the rear athletes doing the burpee. That way you don't catch a foot in the face. Now, different burpees in 14-5, 16-5 in the Open. Of course, that was an individual event. Bar-facing burpees. In the box, we do a lot of lateral burpees. Let you talk on it. I think the bigger athletes like myself would rather do the bar-facing burpee because it'll slow the smaller athletes down. That lateral, you're moving a little bit quicker.
You're forced to move a little quicker. It's easier too, so the athletes that can move their bodies quicker have that advantage.
Guys, we talk about being in connection with each other, being in synchro with your teammates. watching CrossFit Queens, they're very methodical about what they're doing on the burpees. They're not going too fast, they're not going too slow. They're very in sync there. But watch this first, well, they didn't do it that time, of course. But the first 2 rounds of moving up on that, on the worm thrusters, they're going straight into a worm squat clean. I don't think I've ever seen that in the last couple of years with this worm apparatus. Definitely a strategy to move a little bit faster. Of course, the time I start talking about them, they don't do it, but something that gained them maybe a little bit of an edge, just that extra split second or extra second or two. Every little bit counts when it comes down to winning these events or placing high in these events. CrossFit Queens using what looks like a very familiar strategy to them with the worm to gain them an advantage.
Thank you very much, Nick. Well, right now we have Queens Physics and Coliseum Strength are your top 3 here in heat number 2. And again, Queens had a pretty significant lead. They were just joined by Physics. Then Coliseum at the bottom, near the bottom of your screen in those purple shorts in lane number 8. They are out of Central Valley, New York, second in the Northeast right now. They had a 17th earlier today, 14th and 20th yesterday. So they would need a good event really to start moving up toward the top 10. Doing themselves well right now, 3rd place overall here in heat number 2.
And Jeff, a lot of these guys that are doing the, taking that one person as the captain burpee, waiting to get themselves down there is usually the larger guys. So that could be some of that strategy too. The quick ones, the smaller athletes that can get themselves right down, go ahead and do that, and then let me just get down here when I can. But the timing, the tempo, as long as you keep that tempo and cadence and don't deviate from it, and the consistency, that's really the key.
So Queens will move the worm up. Here we go, back to the thrusters. 30 worm thrusters this time, then it'll be 30 worm burpees. So Queens maintains their lead there. The males with the black tops and the army green shorts, the females in the white tops and the gray shorts.
Look at that synchronization. Great tempo. They're right on. They know what they're doing. They know what to expect, and every athlete is doing their part.
And again, we expect them to be very good in this event as well as they did with the worm a season ago. It was a 6-person team, though, last year. Now 4-person teams. And at the bottom of your screen, here comes CrossFit Southie out of Boston, Massachusetts. 19th in the Northeast.
And that was just like Nick said, lane 5. They did that squat clean right into it. There's no reason to stand that worm up. Just go right into the squat clean. They've definitely practiced that. It shows.
This is Southie on your screen in the green tops, the camo shorts for the male athlete up front. So you've got Queens and Southie. They have now been joined by Coliseum Strength and Physics. So those are your top 4. So in the middle of the screen, you can see how far ahead Queens is. The only team as CrossFit Select in Heat 1 had the time to beat 10:54.10. So that is the time to beat that they are chasing that Select had just 1 heat ago. And this is Queens. Physics off to their left, who had an early lead in an early 2nd place until Southie and Coliseum jumped in there. 12 time count, we are past the halfway point.
Watch where their hand placement is on that worm. They keep their hands low under the worm. Some of the teams that are struggling have they're getting tired and they want to help. You don't want the worm to fall off your shoulder, so it's tempting to put your whole arm around it. But these strong teams and the teams that have this down, the worm stays very level, very even, and so they're able to keep their hands underneath the worm so that they get the best kind of push underneath it and utilize all that strength in the right direction so the worm doesn't go off to the side. It goes straight up and over.
Queens still in the lead, as you can see on the left side of your screen, just off to the top of the screen doing the worm thrusters in the all black. That's Physics. They move back into 2nd place. See if they can hold off Southie at the bottom of your screen. And here is Physics. They went back and forth with Queens early on. They fell off the pace a little bit, but they did move that worm ahead for these thrusters ahead of Coliseum and Southie. See if they can maintain that pace, because I tell you what, Coliseum Strength looking really good in lane 8, but Physics is going to maintain 2nd place. Queens has a pretty good lead, about an 8 or 9 rep lead on these burpees. But Physics trying to gain these points. Again, 4th place earlier today. They moved up into the top 10. And again, Queens right there on your right with the 2nd place finish. Now 7th place overall, just 20 points away from a top 5.
And this is the last event for these teams, so moving day, this is their last chance to move. They have another heat of the top team, so they need to keep this push.
10:54.10 is what they're chasing to get the overall event lead with 1 heat remaining. So Queens in their final segment of the burpees. They are followed by Physics, and Coliseum straight down has moved the worm up into their last round of the worm burpees.
And they've actually adapted now. Now they're all just going into the burpee right away. Nobody's waiting. They're picking up their speed here on the burpees.
5 reps left for Physics, and they can move that worm forward as well. So Queens is nearly done. Boy, what a day they've had. 2nd place earlier. And they're about to have the event lead here with 1 heat remaining as the athletes are in. They will get it about 9:06. So now Queens, they obliterated the time to beat. 9:06 unofficial as they finish it. And a little less than 3 minutes remaining on the time cap.
That was a great example of how to work together, how to work as a team, stay together as a whole unit.
And 9:06 also obliterates Max Paul Spartans out in Europe with a 10:13, so nearly a minute ahead. Max Paul sprinted to that last set of burpees. They kind of had it planned out. Wow. Amazing performance by CrossFit Queens. They may have lacked 100 points with 1 heat remaining. They still have 1 left.
And in comparison, when you watch how the teams, when they rush on their burpees, they start to fall apart. That's what is so impressive about Queens. They, even though they were rushing the pace and pushing the burpee pace, they still did it together as a team. There wasn't one person doing their own thing. That cohesive unit is what got them that event.
Here is Physics. Physics about to finish 2nd. And they're going to be in. So Physics will be in ahead of Select as well. So they are their 2nd place overall here in the East. They would have just missed that event record pace by just about a second or 2. Again, 12-minute time cap, 90 seconds remain. But CrossFit Queens really made that look a lot easier than it is. Just kind of see him straight comes in. Took a second to realize just how fast they went at that 9:06 pace to just destroy the European record.
That's what the best teams and the best athletes, they make things look effortlessly. And so you don't realize how heavy that worm really is for each individual athlete. You don't realize sometimes how much work is going into it because they make it look effortless, but they really did. They were so efficient.
Less than a minute remaining in the 12-minute cap. We have a few teams in already. Again, Queens and Physics and Coliseum are in. Trying to get a few more teams. A lot of these capped out. And in lane number 9, it's going to be CrossFit New England. New England 20th earlier today. They had a 12 and 27th yesterday. Lane 10, CrossFit Southie, who flirted with 2nd place for a while. They'll drop off, but they will be in after several teams capped out earlier today in the first heat. So you have 5 teams remaining on the floor with less than 30 seconds remaining in the 12-minute cap. 1 heat remaining. Boy, but CrossFit Queens makes a huge, huge statement. And again, Queens came in just 20 points out of the top 5. Depending on what happens in the final heat, that may put them over the hump. And just in time, Hussein Tashro out of Quebec. Well, 2 heats down, but wow, Tanya, CrossFit Queens was just so steady. We weren't even really checking. We knew the event record, but they just made it look so effortless.
They did, and they made it, we wonder how that new burpee standard was going to go, how it's going to look. They look like they've been practicing that forever. The way they maneuvered that worm every time when they picked it up, they were in sync. No matter what it was they were doing, they were together. They knew what the next person was doing, and they always they moved it so well, and they didn't have any of those errors that other teams had. No drops, no mistakes. Their burpees were right on. Even when their tempo changed, it changed as a team. They definitely were aware of their breaks. They definitely had a strategy and practiced this, and had the breakdown of what they needed to do in it, and they executed very well to get that event record.
Well, we have one heat remaining, heat number 3, and you got your work cut out for you if you want to catch up with CrossFit Queens. It's on the way from the Times Union Center in Albany, New York. Getting ready for the final heat of event number 4 to be the final heat today for team competition on day number 2 of the 2018 East Regional in Albany, New York, inside the Times Union Center. I'm Jeff Brightwell alongside Tanya Wagner, Nick Zielinski on the competition floor, and some teams made some moves earlier today. Let's see how they stack up here through 3 events coming into the final event. And Invictus Boston, with their performance earlier today, vault themselves up into first place, and Reebok CrossFit 1 made the jump from 7 to 3rd.
And they made that jump because of their teamwork and their ability to work together in the pairs and really just push the work, and they have an opportunity to do that again here. They're going to be doing worm thrusters and burpees, 40 reps of each and then 30 reps of each. All 4 teammates on that worm and on the burpees. There's a 12-minute cap for this, and I'm really excited. This one's going to go quick for some of these teams.
Here's how they set up, and your first place team right now is in lane number 6 in Invictus Boston, and Reebok CrossFit 1 over in lane 2. Now putting themselves up into the top 5 here with this final heat remaining on day number 2. But again, I think as you look at it, the favorites are where we thought they would be.
They are, and that's what makes it even more exciting to see this push when they're side by side, especially when it comes to that worm and burpees and all the timing and tempos. How are they going to push? How fast are they going to start? Because a lot of these teams are going to finish the same way they start, with the same speed.
Well, we started off with the worm thrusters, and the worm thrusters a little bit different, obviously, than the standard you'd have of the barbell thruster. Even if the teams were doing something with pairs and barbells, a barbell thruster, you can talk to, arms extended. The worm, you just need to be in the straight line. The arms, probably because of the different height athletes, don't have to be extended.
They don't need to be extended. The other thing is you're really moving it from one shoulder to the other. So you think about a stone to shoulder or shoulder to shoulder when you go over your head. It's a little different pressing movement. And so the bigger thing, though, Jeff, is really as long as you, depending what section of the worm you're on, you feel the pull if you're in the front from the weight in the back, or if you're in the back, you feel it pull you forward. So it's really, depending on where you're at, you're feeling a different pressure as well.
So these teams are already moving at a blistering pace as CrossFit Queens finish unofficially right around 9:06. They have that new event record, and these teams are really on a blistering pace. And Spencer Hendel's going to lead the way there in the army green shirt for Reebok CrossFit 1. Ocean State's Finest on the left in the red. They have 2 of 3 members from the 14th place teams of the games. Very good at the worm. So Reebok CrossFit 1 on the right, who finished first earlier today, going to battle Ocean State's Finest, who's pretty good with the worm themselves. They were 3rd in the Northeast, 34th worldwide. They're in the red shirts, blue shorts, and Reebok CrossFit Run there on the right side of the army green top. But it's Invictus Boston again. We saw them take the early lead earlier this morning, and they're taking the early lead yet again in event number 4. They finished 3rd overall. That put them into first place with 276 points, a 22-point lead over Pro 1 Montreal.
But Jeff, also for CrossFit Invictus Back Bay last year, they were 7th in this event with all 6 athletes, 7th worldwide in this event. They are among the best when it comes to the worm and their timing and how they work together with that element.
So Invictus, the first on to the burpees. Lateral burpees. In years past, where there's been 14-5, 16-5, even in your local box, a lot of times you have the bar-facing burpees. Some days you have the lateral burpees. We talked about this last heat a little bit. I'll let you touch on it as far as the different type of athlete, whether they really prefer the lateral or the bar-facing.
Yeah, really it's preference about your speed. Usually if you want to slow it down, maybe you want that bar facing or that burpee, that worm facing burpee. But more than that, it takes the extra step out of it. So a lot of times last year the cadence was down, you step back or step up because you need to, so you don't get that extra jump. This is a little quicker, so they have a little time to make sure they're on the ground. There should be less missed reps because they really have one less step and one less part to make the error. But the teams are doing well adapting to it. They've practiced it, and that's not really a problem. It's really the communication when they get to the worm that's the bigger issue. And if they don't have that timing down, that's really the bigger issue.
Reebok CrossFit 1 is taking the lead over Invictus. Invictus was the first to get to that first set of burpees, but it's CrossFit 1, led by Spencer Hendel up front, that cycled through them a little bit quicker. Now here comes Invictus and Team Fraternity, who finished 5th earlier today and put themselves back in contention. In fact, they are in 4th place. Fraternity is. They are in the black with those purple weight belts on your screen. 244 points, or 22 points on the good side of that final line.
And watch the way these captains, if you want to call them, kind of lead their team when they put their hands out. The guy in front really is the one calling the shots when to drop the worm. Because if they don't lead that and they drop from behind, they're pulling that guy behind as well. So watch the way Spencer Hendel, when he's telling the athletes that they're moving, and then he tells his team we're dropping it, he keeps his hand out there. He makes sure. Some of the other teams are just kind of like on a feel, but there's no control, there's no commanding leader. With the worm, it's so important to have a leader out there that is really driving that tempo and the cadence.
Here we go. We are taking a look at Woodbridge and Milford. They're battling for that 5th spot. Milford, 238 points. Woodbridge is 6 points behind. Milford is on the right side of your screen, the shirtless males, and on the left side is East Woodbridge. They have the black tops and the purple shorts. And again, the team on the right, Milford, with a 6-point lead over Woodbridge, who is the team on your left. They are battling overall for the 5th and final spot to Madison, Wisconsin.
And when you're in that position on the leaderboard, that's who you're looking at. You're not watching the first place team. You're looking at who do I need to beat? Who is our competition right now in this event? Who do we have to get ahead of?
So here it comes from Reebok CrossFit 1. They're going to be the first on to the second full round of the thrusters and then the burpees.
And now Austin Maliolo takes the lead. He's in the front of the worm. So that was a good shift, an interesting adjustment that they made right there. Again, that worm is a 358-pound worm. It's 11 feet long. The different sections weigh a different amount. So the guys in the front have a 100-pound section. The ladies have about 70, and then there's fillers in between.
So Reebok CrossFit 1 in the lead, and all of a sudden, we see a team in lane 7, Lucine Tachereau. They are to Bouchard, Quebec. They've been hanging back there around 6th or 7th in this event, but all of a sudden they are in 2nd place overall. They were 11th earlier today on the assault bike and the deadlifts. So now they are trying to move up in the standings. An 18th and 2 11th place finishes. Really need a good finish here if they want to get into the top 10, if they want to make a push tomorrow.
I'd love to see a little bit more of that pop with their hips and be able to get the worm up together. You can see the worm, watch the way that the teams that are really efficient, the worm stays level, as if it was more like a log. The teams that kind of don't have that timing down, there's a sag, there's a lull in between the athletes, and that pull really does take a toll on your shoulders.
Approaching there was Team Fraternity, who's moved into the second. Apologize there, but Team Fraternity, who had made a move earlier, they had 5th place earlier today, and Fraternity is in 4th overall. Big no rep there on the right side by East Woodbridge, who's one of the teams contending against 6 points out of the top 5 in Reebok CrossFit 1 on the left side of the Army Green tops, led by Austin Valiano at the front of the worm. Currently sitting in 3rd place overall, just 22 points behind Invictus, who's hovering in the top 3 here in event number 4, heat number 3. Reebok CrossFit 1, they're going to maintain the lead as they're done with the thrusters. Here comes Fraternity in the black with the purple weight belts. And next to Fraternity, RX Lab, the Flying V, who is currently at 9th place. So here we go. It's Fraternity on the left in the black and gold. That's RX Lab, the Flying V, in the purple tops. RX Lab, the Flying V, with 196 points, currently in 9th place overall. And Fraternity is inside the top 5, currently in 4th place overall. They're trying to chase down Reebok CrossFit 1. The event win and now the event record by CrossFit Queens, right around 9:06. So that's the number these teams are chasing, and they've won the 100 points out of event number 4.
And don't forget about Invictus Boston. I mean, they just got up there, but their ability and their speed too, I wouldn't leave them out of it either, because they're the ones sitting on top of the leaderboard at the moment. And really, when it comes down to this final push and these last burpees, it's who can handle this together and continue to work together this fast with the pressure.
9:06.67 is the official time for CrossFit Queens. The good point you made by Invictus Boston, we saw them yesterday, really good pacing, able in both events to make that last second push and that really big sprint. We'll see if that pays off today. a little less than a minute to get that event win and 100 points. And all of a sudden, look out in lane number 8. It's RX Lab, the Flying V.
Little lead shift here, but Reebok is right there.
Final set of worm burpees, and it's RX Lab, the Flying V, out of CrossFit Fittest in Montreal, Quebec, with the lead over Reebok CrossFit 1. Again, you have to have the athlete with a chip timer. That is what's going to determine your official time once you get on that red finish mat. We'll wait and see. The judges' hands go up. When they go up, that signals 5 or fewer reps remaining. And there they go, RX Lab, the Flying V. They're not going to have an event record. They're going to have a second place overall, though, as long as they can get in. Boy, and they are really cycling through these burpees. They're going to come in. What a comeback in lane number 8 by RX Lab, the Flying V. They'll win the heat. They won't have the event win, but RX Lab, the Flying V, needed that.
They did, sitting in 9th place right now. They've got capped on the first 3 events. So the first event, they're finishing here in competition, and that was impressive. Their composure was amazing there at the end.
Big sprint in lanes 1 and 2 from Ocean State's finest and Reebok CrossFit 1. Fraternity now comes in at 9:41. But we'll have to wait and see whose chip timer got ahead first between Ocean State's finest and lane 1 up there in the red tops, and in the army green tops, Reebok CrossFit 1. Here we go. East Woodbridge on the left, the battle for 5th. East Woodbridge looks like they're going to get back in over Milford, and Victus Boston gets in there in the white tops in the middle of your screen. But East Woodbridge needed that when they were only 6 points behind Milford, and they got a team in Invictus between them and CrossFit Milford, so that should vault them back up. Little switch in the leaderboard. Pro 1 Montreal there in the blue tops. They will finish, and Pro 1 Montreal came in 2nd place overall coming into the final event of day number 2. There you go, lane 3, East Woodbridge. Big move by East Woodbridge. Boy, look at their fan section. They brought a lot of people here. They're out of Ontario. Lane 4, CrossFit Milford, and Milford seeing themselves drop down the leaderboard of every team that gets between them and East Woodbridge. Fired up as they know they're going to get into the top 5 overall. So top of your screen again is Milford. And you have one other team in lane 9, CrossFit Quebec City, but that is Milford, who had a 6-point lead in 5th. And again, with each second that passes, you're not only worried about this heat, but heats 1 and 2. These teams get between themselves in what was a top 5.
And for Milford, that's surprising. They're not, I mean, with the worm, the timing, they're usually one of the best teams, how they work together. So I'm very shocked at this result for them. 2
teams left. That is Quebec City moving the worm forward behind them. On the right side of your screen, CrossFit Red Zone. Quebec City, 7th in Canada East, 40th worldwide, less than 30 seconds remaining in the 12-minute cap. So some of their fellow competitors coming over, trying to get them in before the time cap. Probably not going to finish it, but you want to get every rep that you can. Less than 10 seconds to go. That will finish day 1 of team competition. We saw some great races here. Queen set the event record in heat number 2, and a big battle and a change in the leaderboard as East Woodbridge gets in well ahead of Milford. Then that should be good enough to put them, but it's RX Lab, the Flying V, that just kind of hung around as the Worms made their way down the competition floor. They get in at 9:16.24.
They really did. It was, at the end, they were just so patient on their last set of burpees, and even with all the panic and all the other teams racing in, they were the ones staying strong, and just their composure at the end. And really, I guess all the way through, we weren't keeping our eye on them. We were watching Reebok because they led the whole way, but wow, that was incredible, and they are pumped. They should be. That feeling is incredible.
Now, they knew they're going to bump up the leaderboard now. Again, they were 9th place. They were sitting at 196 points, so that put them 42 points out of the top 5. We'll see if they can make up the ground.
And this is a perfect example of moving day. This is what you have to do, working together and get yourself in contention. It was here when everything was breaking loose. There was mayhem all over the floor, worms everywhere side by side, and this is the final set. They stayed composed. They didn't break down. They made sure they were very methodical, and they really just kept themselves together in the final 10. And Reebok CrossFit 1 was the one that led the entire way till that lead shift in the last set of 10 burpees.
You know, Woodbridge moved up a little bit, but RX Lab, the Flying V, may have been able to get between themselves and East Woodbridge too. We'll see if that's good enough. They are with Nick Zielinski.
RX Lab, the Flying V event, 4 heat victory for you guys. You're sitting outside that top 5. How vital was that victory for you guys going forward?
After the last event, it was a terrible event for us. We finished 12th position, or no, 16th position. We're all really, really good at thrusters. Like really good at thrusters, good front squats. I knew we were coming in strong, but we were so beat from the last workout that we don't know where we were going in this workout, but we had a strategy, we stuck to it, and we took it.
You guys kind of popped out of nowhere at the end there. Was it a matter of save a little bit of energy and just go as fast as you can at the end?
Well, basically in all the warm workouts, we have a strategy. We hold it from the beginning to the end. So we start a bit slower, a little bit slower, and we finish the same speed, and we accelerated at the burpees, and we took it.
You guys are nicknamed or called the Flying V. Is that an ode to the Mighty Ducks of the 90s?
Yeah, it's kind of a symbolic thing of a team that starts from nothing and became the best.
Is your cheering section up there gonna start doing quack, quack?
Yo, you guys quack down there? You guys quack? That's right.
RX Lab Flying V, congratulations on the event.
One other last thing. Yeah. Somebody from my family passed away this weekend. A very close person to me. Passed away of cancer. It was very unexpected. So I'd like to dedicate that workout to Mary Parada. She also worked with me. She's a very good person. She passed away this weekend, so dedication to her.
Made her proud right there. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Nick. I'm sure Mary Parada would be very proud to watch her team. So that will wrap things up for team competition on day number 2. And RX Lab made the big move on moving day. We'll go out to the HQ studios and get an update on Europe and the South as well. That does it for team competition in Albany.